Come in, Kevin. You can sit up here. Harold ain't gonna be here.
At this time, I will call the meeting to order. This is Friday, April the 18th at 10 o'clock. A public notice was given in a proper manner for this special meeting of the County Commission. The following items can only be addressed during this meeting. There can be no additions to it. The first item on here is consideration for funding request for economic development project. But first, before we get started with that, I just want to make the announcement that we lost our former chairman, Mr. Weed Hicks, this week.
District 2 Commissioner Weed Hicks.
Weed Hicks, but also Mr. Johnny Mack.
Weed.
Weed, we also, as chairman, we lost him. So then this morning, we misfortune that we lost a deputy sheriff in a wreck. So, you know, we've had 3 deaths here that has very close to us. And with that, I'm going to ask Mr. Carl Turman to open with prayer and say a special for those families.
Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning with saddened hearts for the events that's taken place and the loss of loved ones. God, we know that you said that it's appointed unto man once to die. And we know that death is sure, but life is uncertain. And there's things that are going to happen. And God, we just ask you, we're never ready for them, but we just ask you to help us to be strong in these times. Touch those families, God. They need your help this morning. They need your attention, and we just pray that you would give it to them greatly and graciously. And I pray you continue to touch our efforts and help us, God, to go forward in you. And Lord, we'll just believe you for all these things and praise you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Let us pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record reflect that we have 4 members present, which constitutes a quorum. Mr. Elmore is not with us today because he's having surgery. With that, we would go to our first item of business, and I'm going to call on Mr. Rick Clifton to address this funding request for economic development project.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate very much the opportunity to meet with you today. We have the chance to assist in bringing in a company to our community, which I think is going to really bolster our economic status. And the reason I say that is the type of company that we've been trying to attract is a company that has high-paying jobs. It's a machine tooling company. They're in aerospace. It is a company that I think is really going to fit in with what we're trying to do in improving our economic base in the county. I'll give you a little quick, for those of you that may not be familiar with it. Late last year, really, we started negotiating with Georgia Aerospace out of Noonan, Georgia. Georgia Aerospace had acquired Alabama Aerospace, the controlling interest, a 70% interest in Alabama Aerospace, which is currently doing business in Opp, Alabama. Alabama Aerospace has about 12 to 15 employees. Georgia Aerospace in Noonan has 26 employees. And they, because of space limitations and their acquisition of Alabama Aerospace, are looking to relocate. Of course, the logical place for them to relocate is in Opp, Alabama, with their sister company, now Alabama Aerospace. So we've been negotiating with them since probably November, December. And also, I'd like to introduce Jason Bryan. Jason is the city planner project manager for Opp. And Jason's been involved in this really since the very beginning and has worked very hard to put together a proposal. What the proposal is and what we're asking for, from the commission is assistance to aid in the relocation, the renovation of the building, and to aid in the recruitment of personnel according to the memorandum of understanding, which I think all of you have a copy of. We are committing to Georgia Aerospace and Alabama Aerospace $240,000. That's a lot of money for us. So what we have done is we have shared the burden. Covington Electric has agreed to come in and fund $80,000. The City of Opp has agreed to fund $80,000. And we are asking the Commission for an $80,000 commitment for this project. Jason can answer any questions you might have, and I'll try to answer any questions you might have. We feel this is a good project. Of course, with any projects, you never know, exactly what the future holds. They feel the future is very bright. They've got a plan. They're completely relocating their business from Georgia to Opp. And in addition to, we're going to go from 12 to 15 employees to 80 employees by June of 2016. That's a big leap. They're also going to put in, Jason, about $3 million worth of equipment is planned for the project in Opp. They're moving all their equipment that they've got in Georgia to Opp. They're bringing 6 people with them from Georgia, but they have immediate plans to hire 20 people from the very, very beginning. So we're hiring people. We're hiring people with wages that are above average for our community. There are plans for further expansion in the community, which we think are very realistic. And in addition, this company is very interested in partnering with our junior college at MacArthur and bringing in these tooling machines so they can train and teach young people and bring them a labor pool, home grow our folks, give the people a chance to stay here in the community instead of going off somewhere to earn a very good wage. I think their anticipated wage is $20 to $25 an hour. So this is it's a company that is really fits into what we're trying to do. Alabama Aerospace is in the industry. They complement each other well. Myself and a representative from the State Commerce Department who has been actively involved in this, Mr. Vince Perez, and also Jason Brian Parker with the Power South has been very much involved in this. Brian Parker and I went to their facility in Noonan, Georgia, and toured it. Very impressive facility, and it's something that really fits into what we're trying to do for our community. And we would ask for the Commission's help in making it a reality.
Rick,
We'll be glad to answer any questions.
just as a point of clarification, I don't think Opp has approved it yet. They've got a special meeting scheduled for Monday. So they
Covington
haven't
Electric
voted.
has already approved it. Their board met at a special meeting and approved their participation in the project.
It sounds like to me if they're going to relocate, we want to be sure it relocates to Opp. We do not want to lose what jobs we have now. And two,
Well, that's a potential. They bought the building in Opp, and so it's logical for them to go there. But I will say that we found out that they were negotiating with other communities, and so while we feel like it's done deal. It's not quite a done deal. It is a cooperative effort between our partners in the community, but also the state of Alabama Industrial Authority. We're going to assist them in applying for a grant of $50,000 to help renovate the building. We anticipate the building being put into the Op Industrial Development Board. What we would like to do is to have the funds paid into a special projects account through CCDC, and then upon presentation of appropriate invoice or proof of payment, that we would reimburse them from that special projects account.
You know, I know, requesting $80,000, and I think personally, I think it's well worth it. I look at it from about three perspectives: added jobs, higher paying jobs, increase in ad valorem taxes, and we have something to offer our children here in Covington County, so they do not have to leave the community to get those type of jobs. So, anybody got any questions?
Also, don't this have a clawback in it?
It does. If they don't perform it, then it does have clawback provisions in it. I'm gonna be realistic with you. If a company can't make it, you're clawing back against a company that's probably out of business.
Yeah. But it does also coordinate with what we have going on at our airport now, right?
Very much so. Very much so. This company is one that we used to help recruit another company that's considering coming to our community. They needed a machine tooling company that can machine tool titanium. And these folks over in Georgia can do that, and they're going to bring that over into Op. So it fits right in. In addition, I should have mentioned also AIDT, the state industrial training folks, has entered into an agreement with this group to assist them in recruiting and training of personnel. So it truly is a state and local cooperative effort.
Mr. Rick, they give you any reason why they wanted to leave Noonan?
Yes, they did, and its very specific reason is their future anticipated business is they're outgrowing their facility with no possibility of expansion where they are, and we saw it, and they're just as tight as they can be. So I think they had that in mind when they acquired Alabama Aerospace over here. That is a huge building. Even with them coming in and taking over, there's probably still going to be almost half of that building available for future expansion.
Okay.
This is also, as I read it, contingent on a final agreement between the parties.
It is.
That has not been
No,
finalized
that has
yet,
not. It's been fluid as of this, we've been
Right.
talking with them, and we'll talk with them this afternoon and let them know where we are as far as the commission is concerned.
Right, so, as I understand the mechanics of this, regarding that agreement, you're the one with the CCEDC who's taking the lead in doing that negotiation. I mean, this is really between you and Georgia Aerospace at this point, isn't that right?
Pretty much, although, Jason's been involved, Brian with Power South, Vince Perez with the Commerce Department, AIDT, all of these people have put in, but the actual funding, and we asked Covington Electric, and Covington Electric is going to put those funds in a special projects account through our office.
So, and I'm sorry to be putting you on the spot
No.
with all this, but so I'm assuming the way that this will work is that once you and this Georgia Aerospace kind of reach the what you consider to be a final agreement, at that point, then you'll bring that back to the groups that have agreed to contribute toward this, and then ask at that time for their approval. Is that right?
Well, what we would like is for this memorandum of understanding to be approved once we get that, it will probably, if we get that, I think the funding could come from the group. I don't know that,
Okay.
that they need to be a party to the final agreement, but we certainly can, bring that back. It will echo this, with the clawback provisions Kenneth mentioned.
Okay. All right, so
It's
what
however
you,
the commission wants. Well, what we want to be able to do, though, is to go to them and say, the commission's on board with their participation. Covington Electric is on board, the state's on board, and then OP is gonna be on board on Monday, so we can sign off on this and proceed.
Well, it looks like to me that if we approve this memorandum of understanding, the last sentence in there means that everybody's got to sign on it before it becomes effective. Is that not correct?
that's right.
Yep.
So with that, I personally don't see any problem with it.
I agree. I mean, as long as it's contingent on these other things, and I just wanted to make sure that that there has not been anything at this point agreed to. It's still all contingent on everybody agreeing, and CCEDC is already approved, and if y'all approve it today, that's 2 of the 3, and then OP will have to decide on Monday.
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
I think in the motion, we need to approve this memorandum of understanding, but we also need to approve the specific amount that we're going to put into this.
Right,
project.
right.
That's right,
And what we are
contingent
seeking
on-
is $80,000 from the county. And
Right.
that's what we're getting from Covington Electric is giving us a little cushion. Yeah, giving us a little more, but hopefully we won't need it. But Mr. Short came through, so he's approved a little more than that. But the idea was 80,000 from each entity, and so we've got the 80,000 from Covington Electric. We fully expect to get it from OP on Monday, and hopefully get 80,000 is what we're asking from the commission.
So what we need is a motion to approve this memorandum of understanding along with the maximum amount that we will contribute is $80,000.
Yeah, I would say in an amount not to exceed $80,000 contingent on,
All parties agree.
Everybody
Right,
agreed
right,
to it.
and what, I would not expect us to request the funding until everything is finalized. So I don't expect to walk out with a check this morning.
Do I need to restate what we're doing? Ms. Petty, have you got it down?
I've got it. I think it really is pretty much spelled out in this memorandum.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As long as it is contingent on all the parties agreeing.
Right.
Rick, will this be brought, assuming everybody agrees, will you recirculate the memorandum of understanding, and at that point, it will be executed?
Right,
Okay.
we can do that. Actually, the principal, I didn't want to proceed unless we were in general agreement, and so Jim Yen has already signed off on it. Since he signed off on it, there's been some problems with the USDA. We actually had a USDA component in there, and USDA has, we realized that they were not going to qualify as a small business under USDA rules. So we're trying to come up with some additional funding to take place of that.
Yeah, Brenda, it'd probably be a good idea too, just to make sure that resolution authorizes the chairman to sign on behalf of the commission. You probably have a standard clause that you
Yeah,
put in
I
there,
can put it in
but
there, yeah.
we want to make sure that it's clear that they gave him the authority to do that.
Any other comments? Do I have a motion to this effect, what we've just discussed?
I make a motion that we agree into this memorandum of understanding for $80,000.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. There being none, motion carried unanimously. We thank you, Mr. Clifton, for coming before the body, and we hope that you'll be here on other occasions so you can share good news with us.
Well, I fully anticipate that, so appreciate your help.
Y'all are welcome to stay for the entire meeting, but if you've got, as I know, you've been traveling a lot and got other things.
I think I may leave and go to tell the folks the good news, so appreciate it.
Good, thank you.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay. The next item is consider bids. We have the first one is the jail addition. We have a recommendation from the architect that we accept as low bidder, Bay South Limited, for the addition of the jail. That total bid was in the amount of $947,043. That included the base bid plus all alternates.
Mr. Chairman, if I could please, this morning I found an email from the architect that actually listed all of the subcontractors, and I thought y'all might be interested in looking over that. I left one at each of your spaces. There was some concern about this contractor not using local subs, and there's several on here that he looks like he's gonna get many of his products, subcontractors and what have you, you know, from the local area. There's 2 pages of them.
The question is going to be, do you want to set base bid with all alternatives, or just base bid with some alternatives? I need to know what your desires are.
I would suggest that we accept the bid with all alternatives included.
Is that a motion?
I would make that a motion, yes,
We have a motion.
I second it.
Martin, and second by Mr. Norrie, that we accept the bid of Bay South with base bid and all alternates being included in it. Any questions?
Nope.
Anybody got any other thing? Also in this motion, we need to give the architect to proceed with preparing the contract. Is that not correct? So the motion will be to accept the base bid with all alternates and give the architect permission to begin drawing up the contract for the execution. We got the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. There being none, motion carried unanimously. I think the anticipated start date is about 3 months out, is it not, Ms. Biddy?
I think that's right, about 3 months.
About 3 months. And we will be, our county workforce will be taking down the old security fence and doing some of the site prep. And I think, Mr. Capps, you said you thought that would cost about $11,000–12,000.
That's right.
So, okay. The next one is bids on cleaning supplies, and I'll call on Mr. Kennedy to present that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe y'all all have a copy of it, and surely we won't go over every item. As I went over every one of them, as well as I could, and, it's a, Crest Supply, who is our local provider right now, according to these figures, has won the bid again on the cleaning supplies. About everything we use is not listed. 46 items that are most common we order a lot of each week is listed there. And Crest Supply was the lowest bidder, and our proposed that we award the bid to Crest Supply. Y'all have any questions about it?
Give me a minute, my packet is out, I got bids in amongst PayPal and all that.
It's the longest, it should be the longest, the only one I think
No,
that's.
there's some long ones, something
okay.
else on here.
There's the left, where's that?
Okay.
Yeah, John. I thought the paper to start with,
I was looking for four, couldn't find four. But anyway, it's been a trying week, okay? Y'all have heard the presentation and recommendation of our maintenance supervisor, Mr. Kennedy.
I'll make a motion that we accept Crest Supply's bid for these items.
I have a second. I have a second on the acceptance. of-
I'll second it.
Mr.
I was
Terman,
just looking at them
second.
figures there.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. There being none, motion carried unanimous. Next one is pest control, services. Mr. Kennedy?
Yes, sir. Y'all also received a copy of those also. But there were only 4 bids that we received. And the second one, Orkin, won the bid by a couple of $100. And I suggest we award the bid to Orkin.
I make a motion, we accept this one working for their pest control service.
Second. Boy, Tommy loves theirs, don't they?
They like it.
I was looking at that. That's why I wasn't paying attention for a second.
Ms.
I
Pitt,
thought-
let me ask you a question. Does any of the local bidders fall into that provision?
I didn't, Kevin said we have a, Orkin location in Covington County. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I was told we did.
It is a local company or it is just a franchise? That's what I'm asking.
It's a franchise, I know, but I don't know who the local representative is. When me and Carrie worked on posting or sending out this bid, I told her to send it to all local pest control, and this is the bid we received. I didn't look over that. I don't know where the bid went out to, or how they received it, or got involved with it, and I don't know where their office is in Covington County. She may have just found them in the phone book.
She may have, and I apologize, I wasn't really involved in this, but this may be an item y'all want to table until
We
we,
got one in Brooklyn.
until we see.
I don't
Because
know about
I'm not familiar with.
And
with
I
your-
apologize.
Are you
I'm not
recommending
either.
we table this till we can check this?
Well, because you know you've
Okay.
got 2 others here that for sure are local,
Right.
that are not that far away from that low bid. So I might just table this.
Let me explain what that local are.
Well, a local bidder gets a 3% advantage. In other words, he can
But just-
be higher, but if he's no more than 3% higher than the low bid,
All right,
he can be awarded that. So, are you doing the math for me?
that's what I was fitting to say, that's gonna be,
Yes.
3375 still wouldn't be.
It still wouldn't be.
and we have 2 bidders that are exactly the same.
Not 3.
It's 3%.
They're actually, one of them's
3%.
3408 and one of them's 3480.
Oh, I'm reading it
They're
backwards,
close.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
really close, but they're.
I misread that last right there. If it falls in at 3%, I withdraw my motion.
Now what?
Tommy got too happy with her
Would
pins.
y'all give the,
Still
would y'all give Ms. Petty and myself the authority to award the bid after we clear up this 3% advantage?
It looks like Mr. Capps has got his handy calculator here.
it's not gonna matter even if.
We don't think it's gonna matter. $3,200.
I was fitting to say that you gotta have come up with $200, so.
Plus, if you took $3,200 and multiplied by 103%, wouldn't that give you the?
Take the low
high-
bidder, multiply it by 1.03.
That's right. And that's your number.
That's your number.
Yeah.
If the other bidders are below that.
Below that.
They could qualify as a local bidder.
Yeah,
It's
9 numbers.
9%. No, it's 9%.
Okay.
Down is 3,190.
3,000 what?
Did you say you were starting with?
You have to start with 3,200 times 1.03.
3296.
See, and neither one of these others are that low. They're at 3408 and 3480.
Okay.
So I think that answers it.
That
Even
answers
if,
your question.
that answers it.
Even though if they don't have a local office, they still can be awarded the
That's
bid.
right.
That's right, because they're the low bidder.
Okay.
Because they're the low bidder.
Okay. As long as the job gets done. I know Miss Petty worked on this years ago, and myself, and had stipulations there about the service. You know, the service has to be, comparable or as good as the service I had
Who do
before.
we have right now?
We had Theus right now, and have had for 3 years, and they've done an excellent job. So if, Orkin will have to perform at that level.
We
I was
can-
going to say, if we have any complaints,
Right.
just come before us and we'll address that.
Right.
Well, if I could kind of just clarify one thing, this item doesn't even require bidding. You don't even have to bid for this service. But there was so much interest and people complaining that they didn't get an opportunity, that Kevin or myself handpicked who we wanted. That is why we started doing this. Then there's no question, we don't handpick anybody.
And I told Carrie to please just look in the phone book and make sure we got everybody in Covington County. And she may have gotten in the phone book, and there may be some in the yellow pages that aren't in Covington County. And I apologize for that. I'll try to make sure that next time it's done, that we just, it'd be my opinion, if it'd be okay with the commission, to just bid, local. Because there's several local, and that's the ones that are complaining. It's not the ones out of Dothan that are complaining about it.
I think it's good public relations that we bid items out so that everybody feels like they have had an opportunity
That's right.
to
Right.
participate. And I think
Well,
the
I think-
opportunity to
well-
participate goes a long way in us having critical support in
I think we ought to consider it just being a local or a Covington County. They have a business within Covington County.
I think we need to post that in the paper or something, just say we're fixing to take bids, any local.
I'm not sure you can do that.
Yeah,
You don't think we
Mr.
can do
Albrecht,
that?
I want you to address the question. We cannot
Possibly on
limit it to
something
bids to a certain area, can we not?
I don't think so. But I mean, really, kind of what you're talking about now is what you're gonna do next time. You're not talking
Right.
about what you're gonna
Yeah,
do with this
that's right.
particular.
Yeah, no, we're through with this.
We can figure all that out. In theory, I think that sounds great. I hope you can.
But I'm just saying, if we just post it, we're gonna take bids from any local pesticide,
We have a motion and a second.
Was there a motion and a second? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Got-
ma'am.
Yeah, I got it.
Kenneth
Never
made a
mind.
motion.
Mr. Northey and Mr. Terman, I got it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second that we accept the bid of Orkin for pest control services. All in favor say aye.
All right.
All opposed, nay. There being none, motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is the consideration of amendment to the pay classification plan. All the recommended changes have been presented to each individual commission for review. And also to Mr. Darren Cap, because the majority of them happen to be in his department. I've had no objections or discussion concerning the ones that have been recommended. Ms. Petty, has anybody mentioned anything to you?
Haven't heard anything.
So I would recommend that we adopt this amendment to the pay classification plan.
I would make that a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Yeah,
All opposed, nay. Motion carried unanimous. Ms. Gerlach, we can make a copy of that to you if you need it. We have it highlighted where we have changes. The next one is consider resolution to apply for grant funding on behalf of the Covington County Water Authority. I'm going to let Ms. Petty address this.
Okay. The Covington County Water Authority, even as a separate entity, cannot apply for grant funds under the Community Development Block Grant Program. The county commission may do that, and they're asking, would the county commission be willing to sponsor the application for them? The total grant, maximum grant amount is $350,000, and they're estimating the total cost to be $403,800. The Water Authority would match the funding, do the match amount, which is $53,800. You would just basically be their vehicle to get this application in. There's no guarantee they'll be awarded the grant. but for them to at least apply for it, they need your help. The only thing I would point out here is that if you go on record and do this for them, if you had a need for a CDBG grant, it would preclude you from having one. But to my knowledge, I don't know anything. Can you think of anything that the county would be applying for in that regard? I mean, I don't know of anything.
So then basically, the commission will be the grantee
Right.
of the grant, and then we would administer that to the water authority to be done and based on,
Right.
they have to provide us certain documentations as to
Yes.
how they spend that money since we're the grantee.
Oh, yes. Well, basically, the Regional Planning Commission would be the administrator type person of the grant documents. They always handle that. They're the ones that'll be going forward with with the grant application on behalf of the water authority.
So,
It's my,
I think you know about it, don't you?
yeah, it's my understanding, all we do is just applying, we'll apply for it, but it's their money. Everything's done been talked through, even Mike Jones, he's talked about it. And the residents up in this area, it just we have to be the one that applies, for this, and then they take over.
Right.
It's the only thing, we just have to do that. And, as far as our money and our responsibilities, we have none. It's just something that we have to do since it's the county's ways.
And I believe the area they're trying to serve with water is in the Union Grove sort of area.
And they're also applying and hoping that these grants, the way they're hoping it's gonna work, is that the hookups the monies will be there to pay for these people to be hooked up, so there'll be free hookups, so there won't be an issue of having the money for people, that can't afford it. And that's also part of this deal, that they've applied for that as well.
so could we have a motion that we apply for the grant with a stipulation that the county will not provide any matching monies?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. I believe with that, we have addressed everything that was in the call for the special meeting. And with that, we will have a motion to adjourn. Mr. Martin, all in favor, stand.
All in favor, walk.
That's the only motion.